Hello friends, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Queen Moses. So today I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this stretch palazzo pant. See how beautiful it is, with elastic waistband, rope on the waist, two side pockets. So I used 3 yards of Ankara to cut this pant. This same 3 yards, you can also use it for a bigger person. So I'll go ahead and fold my Ankara into two. As you can see, how to know the size of Ankara to fold your hip circumference divided by 4, 1/4 of your hip circumference. Now to get this look of trouser you're seeing on the screen, the hip circumference, you have to free it. It's not a regular hip circumference. So you don't use your regular hip circumference. For instance, my client's hip circumference was 38 inches. So I had to increase the hip circumference up to 42 inches. And I added 42 inches divided by 4 1/4. I added 4 inches or 5 inches allowance to this Ankara on fold. This is how to calculate the size. So you minus your waistband. This is the elastic, 2 inches elastic. After getting the width of your Ankara, minus the waistband and mark the length like you see me do. So I'll go ahead and mark the length. The length of this my client is 45 inches. The length of the Ankara is also 45 inches. So I'm not adding hemming allowance. So why I'm not adding any hemming allowance to hem it down is because I need material to get the back crotch extension. So all I would do is to get pieces of Ankara to hem the down part of this trouser. But if your own length is 42, 43, you can go ahead and add hemming allowance, normal hemming allowance of 1.5 or 2 inches. But for this one, I'm going to get pieces of fabric to hem it so that I can complete this back, because the length of this fabric is 45 inches. So I'll go ahead and place my tape minus the 2 inches waistband again to get my hip length. Hip length is where I'm marking right now. So I will go ahead and mark my hip length is 10 inches. I'll go ahead and mark 10 inches. The next thing is to calculate my crotch length. How to get the crotch length is your hip circumference divided by 4, 1/4 of your hip circumference. So I'm trying to divide mine now. I'll fold my tape into 2, divide it by 2, and also divide it by 2 again. That is dividing it into 4. And mind you, this method of dividing the hip circumference by 4 and 1/4 of it for the crotch is any pant that is going to start from your novel. That is the standard. But high waist pants like this, you're going to add extra to it. How to get the extra? You place your tape from the novel to where the pant is going to start from. See what I'm doing right here. Tie elastic on your client waist or your waist and place your tape from the novel of your client to where you tie the elastic. So the elastic is where the pant is going to start from. Mine is 2 inches. Then you add it to the... So as you can see, mine is 2 inches. 2 inches plus 1/4 of my hip circumference, which is 10.5 inches. So that will give me 12.5 inches. So I will go ahead and mark 12.5 inches to be my crotch length. Now, if yours is 2 inches or 3 inches, all you need to do, you add it to 1/4 of your hip circumference and you get your perfect crotch length. So I'll go ahead and connect my hip line and also the crotch line to mark it together to form a straight line. So the next thing my hip circumference is to add divided by 4 1/4 of it, 10.5. I'll go ahead and mark. So I mark 10.5. I will also mark 10.5 on the waistline. Whatever I have there, I'm going to bring it to the waist and mark the same 10.5, and I will connect it into a straight line. So go ahead and do so. Okay, so the next thing is to get the crotch extension. The front crotch extension, you divide your hip circumference into 4, 1/4 of it, which is 10 and a half, and go ahead and divide the 10 and a half into 4 again, 1/4 of it. So mine is 2 3/4 of an inch. So I'll go ahead and mark the 2 3/4 of an inch. Now, how to connect the crotch curve? Just extend 1 inch arrow and curve your hand to the 1 inch and connect it to that 2 3/4 to get a nice curve. As you can see, what I have here is very nice. So the next thing to do, the waistline, I don't want it to be too bogus, so I'm going to take something out of the waistline, 1.5 inches, just connect it to the hip line. This is the purpose of the hip line. So you connect it like that. Now, how to get the size of your pant? So the same size I have on the hip, the crotch line, I'm going to mark it like that down. As you can see, this is the reason why I call it a straight palazzo. It's a very beautiful palazzo. Connect it like that down. Okay, so you see how beautiful it is. Now the front of my pant is ready. I'll go ahead and cut it out. So I'll go ahead and fold another fabric to cut the back, and the back is always bigger than the front. Take note of that whenever you're cutting a trouser. The back is always bigger than the front, so I will just increase it. You can add extra 3 inches to the back for you to get the back allowance. So the side, you place it equal. All I need is 2 inches to the leg. I'm adding 2 inches to it, just 2 inches, because the pant is already free. It's not a fitted pant. 2 inches. So I'm not using a add method. I'm using a very simple method to cut it. From the hip measurement, not the crotch extension. So in back crotch extension, the hip measurement where I stop, you place divide it by 2 to get the center of your pant. Are you seeing? Then you place your tape from that center that we mark to get the crotch extension. Just get it the hip circumference at the back. Now the back is what I'm marking. The hip circumference divided by 4, 1/4 of it, to get the back crotch extension. Now I'm going to add 1.5 inches. I'm connecting it already, 1.5 inches to the center of the back to get my crotch extension for sewing allowance. Okay, so you connect it together. The next thing is the waist. This is the reason why I did not add seam allowance to the down part of my pant, just for me to get allowance to connect to the waist. So 2 inches extension at the waist, the center of the back, you connect it from the side to the 2 inches like this. You see the shape of it. So the pant is ready, front and back is ready. I'm cutting it out right now. This is a very simple method. The side is equal. Only at the crotch line, I added allowance to it. The down part 2 inches. The upper part, the center of the back, 1.5 inches. So as you can see, it's ready. I'll go ahead and cut pocket. This is inseam pocket I'm cutting here. Just get a pattern paper, 10 inches length, 10 inches width. Okay, you check 10 inches, then you go ahead and connect lines to get a guideline. At the upper part, which is close to me, the part I'm going to join to the pant, you connect, mark 1 inch for a guideline. Then by the side, you create 1/2 inch all over. The down side, the other side, just create half inch all over for a guide line. This pocket is very beautiful. You can use it for any dress, so just keep the pattern for yourself. You can use it for gown, you can use
So
it for
after creating the
pants, you
guideline,
can use it for
this part
skirts.
that I
It's a very
mark
beautiful
1 inch
pocket.
close to me is
So
the upper
connect
part.
all
So
the
how to
lines
get my
together.
pocket
As you can
opening
see,
seven
it's a
inches,
square
I'll go
line.
ahead and mark seven
So
inches.
now,
That place that I marked 7 inches is the down of the pocket. This is the upper part. Okay, I will mark 1.5 inches. Now I will go to the down of this square line, mark 2.5 this way, 2.5 this way, 2.5 this way, 2.5 that way rather. Then connect your hand from this 1.5 at the upper part to meet with the first 2.5. Then you blend your hand from the second 2.5, okay, to get a nice curve. Just create a round curve and blend it well. Don't allow it to be too sharp. Now the next thing to do is to connect your hand to this pocket opening. Are you seeing the down part of the pocket opening? So you blend it very well. This is the shape of the pocket. So you can place your hand. All I'm trying to do is to get the shape of my hand. So you place your hand and see that the pocket is okay. For if you're doing it for a smaller person, you can just reduce it by half inch. Use this method and reduce it by half inch. So I'm going to create seam allowance now. To the pocket opening, you mark half inch. You connect it like this, half inch. By the side, I'm going to add half inch all over. This is another reason why I added the seam allowance all over the guideline. So you create a seam, add a seam allowance to each and cut it out. You see the pocket, and make sure you notch or you indicate it up and down. This is the up and that side is the down of your pocket, so that you won't make mistake. The pocket is going to stand like this when you're attaching it. You cut it out on a fabric, and so go ahead and cut out your fabric for the pocket. As you can see, I've cut out my own 1 pieces, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and make sure you notch the upper part on the fabric so that you can know the upper part of your pocket. So this is my front pant now. I'll go ahead and join the front with half inch. The center front, just mark half inch and sew it like this. Sew it half inch, the crotch line, and you bring the back again. You also mark the same half inch on the crotch line at the back. Sew it like that. I'll sew mine and bring it for you to see. Now I finish sewing it. See how it is. If you finish yours, you should have something like this. Okay. Now I'm going to bring the, so this is the back also. I finished sewing the back. Now we bring the pockets. Make sure you check the part that you notch, which is the upper part, as you can see. Pick one of the pockets. Once you notch the upper part of it, it will help you to pick the part that will serve as the up. So to the waistline, I'll use my tape to mark 1 inch to enable me to sew the band, the waistband to the pants. So 1 inch, the pocket is going to start from 1 inch. I'll go ahead and pin the pocket with my pin. Okay. So I will pin the second side. Make sure you check the upper part that you notch. Mark 1 inch on the waistline, come down by 1 inch, mark and pin it. If you mark the upper part of the pocket, automatically the other side is the down of the pocket. So the back side, I'll go ahead and mark 1 inch and place my pocket from the 1 inch and pin it. That side is not the good side of it, so I've picked the second one right now to rhyme with the side. I'm going to pin the second one, the same thing, just repeat the same thing, the 4 line, the first side of the pants, repeat the same thing. So I'll go to the machine and sew it, just sew the pocket, attach it to the pants. with half inch. The same thing to this side. Okay, I'll go to the machine and sew it. I've finished sewing it. So see how it is. You should have something like this. Make sure you iron every stitch. As you sew, you iron it. That is our normal way of sewing. Now I'm going to place front and back together. I'll go ahead and mark 1 inch seam allowance because the pant is free, so I'm using 1 inch to close the side, while the pocket allowance is not 1 inch, please, it's half inch. It is the side that I'm using 1 inch to close. Make sure you mark the pocket space 7 inches. 7 inches space for the pockets. Okay, so when you finish doing that, you connect. This is the way I'm to sew it now. I'm going to sew from the 1 inch connect to the half inch of the pocket. You see, just the way it is, just follow it like that and follow this line. You can pin yours before sewing it. So I'm going to sew it like this till down. I'll sew it like that till down. Okay, I'll also apply the same thing to this other side. 1 inch seam allowance I'm using, 1 inch. So I'll sew 1 inch, but the pocket is half inch, don't forget that, half inch. So just follow the shape of the pocket. One inch. Okay, so you follow the 1 inch down while the pocket is half inch. Connect it like that. Okay, so I will run it and come back to show you. So I finished sewing it. See how it is. Make sure you iron it. See the space of the pocket. Wow. Okay, so the next thing to do is to close the remaining side of the pant, the down part of it. So I will open it like this and turn it with the pieces. That's the down. If yours have a hemming allowance, you don't need to turn it with these pieces because the length of my client is very long. The Ankara length is not that long, so I had to turn it with pieces like this to hem the down. So after turning it, I will now close the remaining line of the pants. So I've finished closing it. See how beautiful it is. I also iron it. So the next thing to do now is to sew the waistband. I'm going to place my tape. Place your tape from the center front and measure the waist of your pants. Measure it round to the center front again. What I have here is 41 inches. 41 inches as the waist. So I'll go ahead and cut the band for the waist. Now this is my band. The elastic is 2 inches. So 2 inches unfold, but if you open it, it's 5 inches. 5 inches I have here. If you open it, half inch to join the upper part to the band, half inch to end the down part of the band. Our normal way of preparing a band. So if you fold it is 2.5 inches. So I went ahead and ironed one line. You see, I iron it. Our normal way of doing a skirt band is the same thing with this one. So I fold it into 2. Now I'm going to mark the 21 inches divided by 2. I'll add 1 inch for seam allowance. 1 inch to join, half inch rather to join this side, half inch to join the other side. You can also extend it more than 1 inch for you not to have issue. Mine is more than 1 inch. When I finish joining it, I can trim the remaining one. So now for us to create a space for the elastic and the rope, just hold the two joining like this. Hold the two center. This side will be the center. Mark 1 inch. 1 inch. Then, okay. After the 1 inch, you can now create a space of 2 inches. 2 inches. Now that it's open, it's 2 inches. But if it's unfold, it's going to be. Then the down part will remain 2 inches. You're going to sew that part close. So you have to sew from this 1 inch close and give a space of that 2 inches and close the other down part of 2 inches. So as you can see the space. This part is 2 inches, which is the back, the front 1 inch, the center has a hole. So I'll bring the pants. Now you check the front of your pants to be sure that this is the front. You pick the band like this. Let the band front kiss the pant back. That is the front. Kiss the wrong side of the pant because we'll sew from the back and turn it to the front. Just our normal way of fixing band. I'm going to pin it all round. So I'll go ahead and pin it. Pin the second side too. So both of them will meet at this point. If you have excess allowance, you can trim some. I'm going to trim mine. I'll trim like half inch this way, half inch this way. So I'm holding both of them together to trim. So just check yours. If you have extra, you trim it. Now I'm going to sew that line close and join the waistband all around. So I've finished stitching it. Now before you do all of this, that hole, that joining at the center front, you can hem yours. I forgot to hem mine, so it's now that I run it. I just hem mine now. So you hem it so that the allowance will not be pulling out. There will be no rough edges. Okay, so I will flip the band to the front and just run it all through like that. So I finish stitching the band now. See the space for the elastic and the rope. The next thing now is to cut the elastic. You still check the waistband, which is at this point I have 40, I think so. So all I need to do now is to minus 6 inches from the waist, just minus 6 inches from your elastic, or 8 inches. It depends how the elastic is. Some are strong, some are weak. So stretch it and see, and you decide if it's to minus 6 or it's to minus 8. So I minus 6 from this one right now, 6 from it. So I'll go ahead and insert the elastic inside the band. This is the reason why I create a hole at the center for the elastic and the rope. So I use my safety pin to pin the elastic, and I'm going to insert it inside through the hole. Okay. So when you insert it inside, you pull it and drag it. Make sure you stretch it. Don't allow your elastic to fold. Let it be flat, just the way it is. And as you're dragging it, you have to be careful that the other side will not run inside. Just control it. You can also use another safety pin. When you're close to the other side, pin it somewhere so that the elastic will not run inside. So you make sure you balance the elastic very well. And check if it's okay. You balance it, make sure it's flat, every part is flat. Arrange it very well to make it neat. Don't allow the elastic to fold. So I check mine, the elastic is too much. I'm taking 1 inch this way, 1 inch that way, 1 inch this way, 1 inch that way. So I'm going to sew it. I'm going to cut it out now. Cut it out, say 1 inch. So automatically is minus 8 inches, not longer 6 inches that I use for this waist. So check the type of elastic and decide what to minus. Now I've moved to the machine, half inch
each of these stitch is going to be half inch. From the waistline, I mark half inch, just half inch to run thread to make the waistband look neat the way it should be. So from the center front, I'm starting from the center front. So as you're running this thread, you have to stretch your fabric and the elastic. Make sure you stretch it very well. Don't allow it to rumple or gather. You have to stretch it. It will gather on its own after sewing it because of the elastic. So as you're sewing, you keep stretching it. You keep dragging the elastic and the fabric together to have a smooth sewing. Okay, when you get to the center front, you stop. Now you measure after this line, you run another line again. So you come down by another half inch. Make sure you watch that space, the opening for the rope and the elastic. Don't stick thread there. So you have to step down immediately after the opening before you start stitching. So you run it all through again. This is the second line. Keep dragging it. So I want to insert the rope inside now with my safety pin. You pass through the hole. Okay, insert it inside. So the rope now is at the center of the pant where the hole is. If you just follow it step by step, you will see how it's going to turn out. You see the result. Please, if you have not liked this video, help me press the like button and also comment on this video. If you like to be seen this kind of video, please, I want to see your comments. This video is a new method that I just started. So if you want to be seeing things like this, I want to see your comments. And if today is your first time of watching my video, please hit the subscription button and tap on the bell to get notification whenever I upload a new video. Okay, so see how the pant is. See the waist, the elastic and the rope. See how beautiful it is. Thank you so very much for watching. Thank you. God bless you. See you in my next video.